Should transgender people be allowed to have guns? I want you to go ahead and comment your thoughts, yes or no.
Here we go.
And New York Post is reporting that Trump's DOJ is considering banning trans people from buying guns. Let's open up this article. I want to see what they have to say about this. Let's see if they got any quotes or anything like that. All right, there's going to be some ads that pop up here. Trump's DOJ considering banning trans people from buying guns. All right, so people are saying, I forgot what I asked. Are people saying no, they
Should
don't
they be allowed to have guns?
Okay, and pretty much everybody's saying no. All right. The Justice Department is discussing proposals to potentially block transgender Americans from buying firearms, so sources told the Post. In the week of the deadly Minneapolis Catholic Church shooting conducted by Robert Westman, New York Post, not Robin, Robert, who identified as a trans woman. All right, let's go down. Let's see. Are there any quotes from anybody here? Let's go. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, one option could see Trump formally declare that people who identify as transgender are mentally ill and are not legally allowed to possess firearms. The controversial move has gained steam along conservatives following Westman's rampage on the Annunciation Catholic Church, where the shooter killed 2 children and injured 21 others. Okay, all right, so that's the thing. That would be the route that they take. We've got other things to show here before we get into the debate. Todd, run us through this stuff here.
Okay.
Next one says footage of trans. What is this?
Yeah, this is footage of him actually in the gun shop.
Okay, all right. So there you go. We don't really need to look at that footage too much. But what's this Don Lemon stuff? What is this?
Don Lemon accidentally called Sarah McBride a dude.
Oh, okay. Who cares? All right, let's get into the debate. Bring me up a picture of the shooter, the transgender shooter, and I want to let's have this out and let's talk about this, because I think I know where Todd's going to go with this. Todd, you seem against this. Go.
I am. Listen, I understand. I get it. And I have to admit, I talked about this yesterday on my show, like when it came out, and my initial knee-jerk reaction was, yes, this is brilliant. This needs to happen, blah, 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 blah. But as usual, I continue to chew on this thing for a little while, and you got to be really careful with this, okay? Because I firmly believe, Second Amendment shall not be infringed, right for everybody. And what pisses me off the most about liberals and Democrats and wokeism is they take a tiny little serving size of an entire group and judge the entire group because of it. Now, I don't agree with transgenderism in any way. I don't, gay marriage, I don't believe in any of that stuff. I think it's wrong. I think it's a sin, and I think that's something you got to work out with God. All right, but my biggest fear of this is if somehow, some way they do and they make this happen, who's next? Am I next? I mean, I'm drawing a disability percentage and taking medication for PTSD.
That's what I figured that you were going to go with.
That's considered mental illness. So am I next? And I mean, when a Democrat gets elected somewhere, am I next? Is Graham next? Are you next? So that's a really slippery slope. And number two, I mean, honestly, how are you going to prove it? Because, go back to the footage here. You can't look at this dude and see he identifies as a woman. That's all they're going to do. Like, they're going to walk around, like this. They're going to walk around like this, but when they walk into the gun shop, they're going to look like this. You know, so there's no way to enforce it, and I just think you got to be really careful with this. Really careful.
So here's the difference. And here's why I figured that's what Todd's concern was going to be. It's very valid, but here's the difference. It will not be worded mentally ill. It will be worded mentally incompetent. So under 18 U.S.C., the Gun Control Act, a person is prohibited from possessing or purchasing firearms if they have been adjudicated as a mental defective, meaning a court or other lawful authority has formally ruled the person is mentally incompetent, not have mental problems like anxiety, PTSD, depression, things like that, but mentally incompetent, and or number two, been committed to a mental institution, either involuntary or through a legal process. Okay? And so here's what I think. I think Trump's already talking about bringing mental asylums back. I think that there's a reason for that. I think that people who believe that they can be men and or women and all this other kind of stuff, I do. I think that those people belong in mental institutions. And I think people that belong in mental institutions should not be allowed to own firearms. I mean, can we agree on that? Like, if you're mentally ill enough that you need to be in a mental institution.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. But
okay.
again,
I think transgenderism should fall in that category. I think if you are a transgender, you are mentally incompetent. You are mentally defective. It's not just mental illness, because mental illness is a broad category. Mental illness can go from, I think I'm a baby that wants to go on mass murder sprees, all the way to, I have panic attacks because I was in the war and I have PTSD. I think mental illness is a broad thing here. I think what we're talking about here is mental incompetence and mental institutionalized. That's what I think. I think transgenderism should be put into, if you are a man that thinks you are a woman, or a woman that thinks you're a man, you do not pass go. You go directly to the mental institution. I do. I believe we need to bring mental asylums back
I
for
agree with you.
specific purposes as this, and that's it, dude. Okay, and again, I want to clarify here. I am not justifying this in any way, shape, form, or fashion. If a man slaps his wife one time, he's a domestic abuser.
Lautenberg Act.
What can he not do, Todd?
Can't buy a gun. Can't own a gun. Lautenberg Act.
You slap your wife one time, and again, you should never do that, and you should literally be like thunder kicked by 12 dudes.
I volunteer as tribute.
I'm not justifying it, but what I'm saying is, for backhanding your wife one time, you can't buy a gun no more. But you can believe that you're a woman and you're a grown man, or vice versa, and you can get your genitals chopped off and all this other stuff. You see what I'm saying? Like, we already got rules that are like, whoa, you do something one time, you can't buy a gun. Like we already got that. That's already here. Yep. So something as serious as this, and especially Todd, with this, look at the pattern. Transgender people are proven to be depressive, suicidal, violent. It is becoming the rule, not the exception with these people. I 100% support it. I think the wording has to be right, just like with everything. Mental illness defined by the federal government right now is you must be proven either adjudicated in a court of law as mentally incompetent and or you have been put into a mental institution. And I think it should be an automatic. If you've got a doctor or a psychiatrist or something like that, and you believe that you're a different gender than what your body actually is, you should be institutionalized. That's what I believe.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think that opinion honestly is what makes it a slippery slope, because here's what will happen in that instance, all right? Because the condition and the symptoms and the diagnosis is only as good as the doctor who writes it. So what you'll have happen is down here, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, South Carolina, Texas, Tennessee, all the doctors will be, nope, no gun for you. Nope, no gun for you. California, Colorado, New York, Maine, Delaware will be, well, I think you'll be okay. I think things will be fine. I don't really think you really have gender dysphoria. Here, you'll be fine. So you'll have a whole bunch of transgender people in blue states that are still walking around, going to gun stores and stuff like that. This is not going to stop. And then transgender people in red states in the South down here will be done. So you got to be careful.
No, but what I'm saying is I think gender dysphoria, just like domestic abuse, is an automatic no. If you're convicted of domestic abuse, key word is convicted there, right? You got to go through court, right? You got to get convicted in court. I think if you are adjudicated and or institutionalized, and I think transgenderism or gender dysphoria is what it really is an automatic. You automatically are put into a mental institution, and that automatically goes to the courts, and you're adjudicated as mentally incompetent because you have gender dysphoria. And because of the chemicals you are taking, Medication for PTSD, anxiety, depression, all that stuff is completely different than medication to change your gender.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Like, in the stuff that it does to your mind and your brain are completely, there is no way these people are fit to buy guns. There's no way.
I mean, I agree with you I agree with you in the premise, the idea, the ideology of what you're saying. It's not possible. It's not plausible. I don't see it being plausible at all. I don't, because gender dysphoria is not like a headache or cancer or, a disease that is symptomatic that you can look at an X-ray, an MRI or whatever and go, yeah, they have it. What are you going to do? You're going to put, and then you're talking about violating HIPAA, because how's the gun shop, how's the gunsmith going to figure out? Like, are you going to put people's medical records attached to their socials?
No, but that's where the court thing comes into place.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, you run your social, you pop up in the freaking, what do they call it? What do they run?
The ICNAC.
Yeah, thank you. Mm-hmm. You pop up, ding, 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 something's wrong, ding, 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 do not sell. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, the courts and the doctors have to work hand in hand with all this kind of stuff. That's why, again, what we're really talking about here is we're talking about identifying and categorizing gender dysphoria as a court-adjudicated mental incompetency that requires not only institutionalizing, okay, but also you can no longer purchase a firearm. We're talking about court adjudicating type stuff, categorizing it and putting in here. It's no different than this drug is not on the controlled substance list. This drug is on the controlled substance list. See what I'm saying?
I do. I just think there's a better solution to all this. I mean, Trump created the Space Force. How about we create the school force?
The school force?
The school force. How about we create the school force, another branch of law enforcement or military or whatever? You go to 6 to 8 weeks of training, and then you put them out in the freaking schools. You put them out in the schools walking around with, a gun attached to their legs. How about we take away the gun-free zones, add open carry, the school force, or add more security, more armed, competent security, and let the good guys with guns deter bad guys with guns, instead of trying this never-ending circle of trying to get bad guys away from guns, because that's never going to happen. It's just not.
I think that what we've done is we've allowed in our society, we've allowed for all mental illnesses to encapsulate, and they all mean the same thing.
Yeah.
Very much like every lie is the same. No, it ain't.
Yeah, I agree with you.
No, it is not.
But
did you take the last Hershey bar? Did you hide a dead body? Like, you know what I mean? Like they are not,
big difference.
It's not the same thing. I think that we need to, and I think that that's what the Trump administration is trying to do.
Well, I'm just telling you, Mr. President, Pete Hegg said, all of you, school force, I'm your secretary. It was my idea. I'm secretary of the school force. I'm just telling
the school force.
The school force.
School force, go. All right.
School
Either
force.
way, let us know what you think. Well, we don't want to spend all day on this, but it is a good. I do. I see the slippery slope of it. However, I also fully and 1,000,000% believe that mental asylums should be brought back.
100%.
And when people are at a point where they should be put into mental asylums, it should be an automatic court thing. Should be automatic. Automatically in the courts, they should be deemed mentally incompetent, at least whilst having treatment. Can we agree on that? Like while they're in treatment for gender dysphoria?
Oh, yeah. If somebody submits to treatment, yeah, I don't know. I don't think, no.
Yeah, but okay, well, that's where I am. I'm sorry. If it's the same thing they used to tell us back in the Army. If somebody's talking about killing themselves,
oh yeah,
okay,
they go into the room with no windows.
They teach you in the Army to tackle them.
Yes.
Tackle them, put them in a chokehold, do whatever you got to do to get them in the freaking room, padded room, and they're going through all the processes, whether they meant it or they were just joking or whatever. Didn't matter, right? Like, that's how, at least in our Army, that's how we were taught, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, if somebody even remotely says something like that, you spear tackle them and you get them on the ground. I think gender dysphoria, transgenderism should be the same way. If you even say, you know, I kind of feel like I'm a woman trapped in a man's body, mental asylum.
Yeah.
I mean, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I'm just saying, man, the crazy people hadn't gone down. The mental asylums have. And we need to bring that stuff back. That's all I'm saying.